I used to let toxic people destroy my peace of mind every single day. Their words would echo in my head for hours. Their negativity would poison my thoughts, and their manipulation would leave me feeling powerless and drained. But then I discovered something that changed everything. The same ancient philosophy that helped a Roman emperor rule an empire while surrounded by backstabbers, liars, and toxic individuals. What if I told you that Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest leaders, had already solved the toxic people problem over 2,000 years ago? Marcus Aurelius wasn't just any emperor. He was a philosopher who faced betrayal, war, plague, and constant political manipulation. Yet his personal writings reveal a man who remained unshakable, peaceful, and in complete control of his emotions. The Stoic philosophy he practiced wasn't just theory, it was a survival guide for dealing with the worst humanity had to offer. And today, I'm going to share with you the 13 most powerful techniques from his arsenal that will make you emotionally bulletproof against any toxic person in your life. But here's what nobody tells you about toxic people. They have a secret weapon that most of us never see coming. They don't just attack you with words or actions. They manipulate something far more precious, your attention and emotional energy. Every time you react to their drama, every moment you spend thinking about their behavior, every second you waste trying to change them, you're giving them exactly what they want. You're handing over your power on a silver platter. Think about it. When was the last time a toxic person made you lose sleep? When did their criticism make you question your worth? How many times have you replayed their hurtful words in your mind? This isn't accidental, it's psychological warfare, and most people don't even realize they're losing the battle. But what if there was a way to become completely immune to their tactics? The Romans called it ataraxia, a state of unshakable tranquility. But achieving this isn't about becoming cold or emotionless. It's about understanding a fundamental truth that Marcus Aurelius discovered through years of dealing with senators who wanted him dead, generals who betrayed him, and advisors who constantly tried to manipulate him. Are you ready to learn what he knew that kept him sane in the most toxic environment imaginable? Here's the shocking reality. Most advice about dealing with toxic people is completely backwards. We're told to set boundaries, have difficult conversations, or try to make them understand our perspective. But Marcus Aurelius would have laughed at these modern approaches. Why? Because they all make the same fatal mistake. They assume you can control or change the toxic person. But what if the real secret was learning to control something else entirely? The twist that changes everything is this. Marcus Aurelius never tried to deal with toxic people at all. Instead, he mastered the art of dealing with his own mind's reaction to them. He realized that toxic people don't actually have the power to hurt you. Only your thoughts about them do. This isn't just philosophical poetry. It's a practical strategy that transforms every toxic encounter into an opportunity for inner strength. Method 1. The mirror technique when someone attacks you with toxic behavior. Marcus taught us to see it as a mirror of their own inner suffering. A happy, fulfilled person doesn't need to tear others down. When you realize that their toxicity is actually a cry for help from someone who's drowning in their own misery, their words lose their sting. I started applying this when my toxic coworker would constantly criticize my work. Instead of defending myself, I'd think, this person is so unhappy with their own life that they need to attack mine to feel better. Suddenly, I felt pity instead of anger. Method 2. The obstacle, as the way Stoics believe that every obstacle contains within it the seed of equal or greater benefit. Toxic people aren't roadblocks, they're training equipment for your emotional muscles. Each encounter is a chance to practice patience, compassion, and inner strength. When my toxic family member would start their usual drama at gatherings, I'd silently thank them for giving me another opportunity to practice my Stoic principles. What seemed like torture became training. Method 3. The circles of control. Marcus divided everything into 3 categories. Things you control completely, things you don't control at all, and things you have some influence over. Toxic people's behavior falls into category 2, completely outside your control. But your response, that's category 1, totally under your control. When you stop wasting energy on what you can't control and focus entirely on what you can, toxic people become powerless. Method 4. The inner citadel. Imagine building an unbreachable fortress in your mind where toxic people simply cannot enter. Marcus called this the inner citadel, a place of peace that remains untouched, no matter what chaos surrounds you. When someone tries to provoke you, you retreat to this inner sanctuary and watch their attempts bounce off harmlessly. I practice this by taking 3 deep breaths and visualizing myself in a peaceful place whenever toxicity begins. Method 5. The negative visualization. This might sound strange, but Marcus regularly imagined the worst-case scenarios with toxic people. What if they said the most hurtful thing possible? What if they betrayed you completely? By mentally rehearsing these scenarios, you remove their power to surprise or devastate you. When I started imagining my toxic boss firing me over nothing, I realized I'd actually be relieved, and suddenly, their threats meant nothing. Method 6. The view from above. When caught in toxic drama, Marcus would imagine viewing the situation from high above, like seeing it from space. From this perspective, the argument seems tiny and insignificant. The person screaming at you is just one of billions of humans on a small planet in an infinite universe. This cosmic perspective makes their toxicity seem absurdly unimportant. Method 7. The sympathia principle. Stoics believe we're all connected in one great web of existence. When someone is toxic toward you, they're damaging this connection and ultimately hurting themselves more than you. Understanding this principle helped me feel genuine compassion for toxic people. They're soaring off the branch they're sitting on. Their behavior creates more suffering for them than it ever could for you. Method 8. The dichotomy of action. Focus only on your actions and intentions, never on the outcomes you can't control. When dealing with toxic people, your job isn't to make them change or see reason. It's simply to respond with virtue and wisdom. Whether they change is irrelevant. I learned to measure success not by whether toxic people improved, but by whether I maintained my principles and peace. Method 9. The present moment focus. Toxic people gain power by making you relive past hurts or worry about future conflicts. Marcus practiced radical presence, staying completely focused on the current moment. When you're fully present, their attempts to drag you into past grievances or future fears fail completely. The present moment is the only reality, and in this moment, you are safe and in control. Method 10. The virtue as reward. Instead of seeking external validation or trying to win against toxic people, find your reward in acting virtuously, regardless of their behavior. When I stopped caring whether my toxic relative apologized and focused only on treating them with respect and kindness, I discovered an unshakable inner peace. Your virtue is the only reward you need. Method 11. The memento mori practice. Remember that both you and the toxic person will die someday. This isn't morbid, it's liberating. When you truly understand the temporary nature of all human drama, toxic behavior seems like a waste of precious time. I ask myself, will this matter? On my deathbed, the answer is always no, and suddenly the toxic interaction loses all importance. Method 12. The preferred indifference. Stoics categorize most things people fight over as preferred indifference. Things that are nice to have, but not essential for happiness. Toxic people often attack these areas. Your reputation, your possessions, your comfort. When you realize these things don't determine your worth or happiness, their attacks become meaningless. Method 13. The evening review each night. Marcus would review his day and examine how he handled difficult people. What could he have done better? What did he learn? This practice turns every toxic encounter into wisdom. I started doing this, and within weeks, I noticed patterns in how toxic people operated and became better at responding with Stoic principles. These aren't just ancient theories, they're battle-tested strategies from someone who faced the ultimate toxic environment and emerged victorious. When you implement these 13 methods, something remarkable happens. Toxic people either change their behavior around you, or they simply fade from your life. Why? Because you've stopped feeding their toxicity with your reactions. The real power of Stoicism isn't in changing toxic people, it's in becoming the kind of person they can't affect. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire surrounded by people who wanted to destroy him, yet he remained peaceful, wise, and compassionate until his final breath. If these principles worked for a Roman emperor dealing with life and death betrayals, imagine what they can do for your everyday toxic encounters. Your peace of mind is too valuable to hand over to people who don't deserve it. Starting today, you have the tools to build an unshakable inner fortress that no toxic person can breach. The question isn't whether these methods work. Marcus Aurelius proved they do. The question is, are you ready to reclaim your power and transform every toxic encounter into an opportunity for growth? Remember, you cannot control what toxic people do, but you can control who you become in response to them. And that, as Marcus Aurelius knew, makes all the difference.